I'd hope I would intervene if I saw somebody getting attacked. What I wouldn't do, I saw somebody getting off the train a couple of years ago who had their phone pinched as a guy got off and ran away, and this guy was going mad because people didn't jump in. And I don't think I'd jump in to save somebody's mobile phone.
I probably would intervene in a fight, and I say that because I have done on several occasions in the past. I understand why other people don't, because quite often you get involved kind of with good intentions and then you end up getting hurt yourself, and in some cases some people even killed from intervening in a fight. But it might make me a bit silly, but I have done it several times before and I probably would continue to do it.
I like to think I'd step in. It's obviously different because it's a stranger that I'd be, I guess, defending, but I like to think of myself as somebody who'd step in and, I don't know, at least say something, if not, physically approach the person.
So, would I step in? I like to think I would step in, especially if I felt like it was just sort of a verbal attack and there wouldn't be any threat to my safety. But I mean, certainly if there was a weapon involved, like a knife or a gun, I would sort of run away and phone the police. But if someone was just being aggressive towards someone else, I like to think I'd step in. And I also think if there's sort of a crowd, it only takes one person to sort of put their hand up and say, wait, this isn't right, to sort of start everybody. That's what I like to think.
If I saw a stranger in need of help, I probably, if I was going to be honest, wouldn't jump in case I got stabbed as well, or let's say there was a knife out. But I would call the police and stay around to make sure something was done. But I think me jumping in wouldn't be any good to anyone, but I would definitely phone for help.
I was with a friend who was a boy, and we saw a woman who looked like she was about to be raped by a man in the park, and we did intervene then. We sort of ran up and shouted, and he let go and sort of ran off. But I do think it makes a difference whether it's a man or a woman. I also think you've got to consider certain things like how many of them are there, how many of you are present.
Problem is, people panic and get frightened, which I think is a natural reaction, really. I think I'm less likely to get into a fight than I would have been 20 years ago, but I hope I'd be more likely to help somebody else out in a fight if they're getting the worst of it.
I'd like to think, it's one of those things that I'd like to think I'd do if I saw a guy getting beaten up for no reason in the street, and he was clearly in a lot of trouble. It's one of those things you'd like to think, yeah, I'll go in and try and stop it. But also there's only so much one individual person can do. I think if you're in a group yourself, it makes it much more likely that you'll intervene. If there's a group of people present who aren't necessarily together, like if there's sort of 5 or 6 passers-by, there's nothing to stop you getting together and going to intervene. But I think if the guy's being set upon by a group of other guys who look quite nasty, you've got to ask yourself realistically, what's the likelihood of you mitigating the damage they do on him, and what's the likelihood of them actually inflicting more damage on you?
The Brits, I can imagine, would be particularly bad at stepping in because of the Great British Reserve, and everyone's worried about intruding on someone else's. I just think that if you're getting attacked, Britain's probably not a great country to be in.